Hello, so welcome to Rise of Vibes, guys. Tonight's guest is Florida High Performance. But before he joins, I just wanted to say usually each episode is sponsored. However, tonight's episode of Rise of Vibes is not sponsored. If you would like to become a show sponsor or episode sponsor or any type of sponsor on Rise of Vibes, please feel free to reach out via email, DM, text, or pull up on me if you know where I am. But again, tonight's guest is Florida High Performance, and I have been eagerly anticipating speaking with him because we got a few things we need to talk about. So I'm just waiting for him to get in. While we wait for him to join, make sure that if you are not subscribed to the YouTube channel, you go ahead and do that now. We've been doing Rise and Vibe since 2019. So there's a lot to catch up on. And if you are not aware of some of the guests that we've had, you need to make sure that you just check out some of the past episodes. I'm pretty sure you'll be surprised at some of the people that we've had on. So, like I said, I'm just waiting for Florida High Performance to join, and when he does, we'll go ahead and bring him on. Also, you guys need to pay attention to when I post the schedule, some of the people that are coming. It's some people coming that you guys have been waiting for me to interview that you have not exactly. Go ahead and subscribe so you won't miss any episodes. Talking to Florida High Performance now. He should be clicking in just a second. Let me see if he's here. I swear. I may start over because I want to go ahead and dedicate the full hour to having him. Oh no. I have no idea. Probably, I have a couple of ideas about that, but we'll have to talk about that at a later date. If you guys have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, make sure you go ahead and do so. So if you miss any of tonight's episode, you can view the full episode. Hey, how are you?
I made it. I'm good, KP. How are you?
Hey, I've been anticipating speaking with you for some time now.
Right.
First, I wanted to start by saying thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to let me get in your business a little bit.
No problem. You get all up in it.
So I'll start off with one of my questions, and then I'll get right into the fans' questions, okay?
Sure, of course.
All right, so tell me how Florida High Performance came about.
Okay. I've been in this business 22 years. When I say this business, I mean the performance business at every level. Florida High Performance was actually, it's like my second coming. I had another business prior to that with a partner. We did well. We were in business quite a long time, and had some things come up, life changed, kids came along, that sort of thing. Took a break actually from that business for a while, and wound up closing it, getting rid of it, and took about a year off. And then 2021, decided to open Florida High Performance, this time on my own, a lot smarter, a lot wiser, and with a lot more experience backing the vision, I guess. And that's it. So 2021, February, Florida High Performance was established. We're in Boca Raton, Florida, and we've been killing it since. It's been a wild ride. I'm very blessed. I'm very lucky, and that's what we do. So,
how was the transition going from a partnership to a sole proprietorship?
I don't I don't have anything against partnerships. Sometimes partnerships work really well. Sometimes you can't do it all by yourself. I had a great partner. I have really no issues there. I just, as you get older, things change. The things that I needed out of the business and out of life and what I needed to support my family sort of changed. And the direction that I wanted to take things was a little different the way he wanted to take them. And it was sort of the right time, if you will. So there was no, there wasn't any bad feelings or anything like that. We just, kind of went our separate ways. But comparing a partnership to just being on my own now, it's a lot more work. I've got to sort of do everything now myself. I've got great employees. Obviously, I've got a great family to support me, but um, it's good and bad. It has its pros and cons. I would say the best part of being on my own is making the decisions, not having to talk to somebody else, not having to, have to run it by somebody else. I can sort of daydream all day long. I can execute quicker. And in the business world, especially the performance world, things are changing so quickly. It's really important to be able to make decisions and execute on those decisions right away and not have to sit around and consider somebody else's feelings,
Right.
if you will.
So for those that are not aware, what all does Florida High Performance do?
Florida High Performance is a late model General Motors performance shop. So General Motors, Corvette, Camaro, Cadillac, GM trucks, Silverados, things like that. What I tell people is we take perfectly good working cars and we enhance their performance. We do very little repair. Most of everything we do is upgrades and enhancements. Supercharging, turbocharging, suspension upgrades, engine builds, any of that kind of stuff. For anybody who follows us on social media or sees our Instagram or YouTube, they know exactly what we do. We build some pretty crazy cars. I've been doing specifically that for many, many, many years. Florida Performance, obviously, when I opened that up, I didn't want to deviate from what I know, which is late model GM. Do a little bit of Mopar here and there. Every now and then a Hellcat will slip through. But for the most part, we're 99.9% GM all the way through and through.
Right. So y'all don't deal with old school cars?
Not really. The only old cars we'll have come through typically have newer drivetrains in them, so that resto mods and things like that. We got a '57 Chevy in the shop right now with an LS3 engine and transmission in it. So every now and then an old car will come through. It's being modernized. Everything in it's going to be brand new with the exception of the body. So, but most of what we do is 2010 and later is our specialty.
Okay. Now, as far as the business, what's
Yes.
one thing that you wish you could change about the car world in general, overall? Like something that you're like, this just really grinds my gears.
Sure.
And I would love to change it.
I think it's the expectations people have of the way things actually go. And I'll elaborate that on a little bit. So we have social media. Social media is a blessing and a curse. All right. Obviously, we're using it right now to converse, so that's a beautiful part of it. So there's definitely positives to it. The negative side of social media, especially with regard to the performance business and what I do, is there's a lot of smoke and mirrors. There's a lot of fake, false, just things that are not real. What people perceive as real isn't. And what I mean by that are sometimes like people's expectations, how much power a car should make, when the job should be done, how quickly things should happen. When you're constantly fed, things on social media, what you're not seeing is the years and years and years it has taken for that person to get to that point, to be able to do what they're doing, and then the amount of work and people and just the amount of skill it takes to actually build the cars that we do. So I've actually been on some other shows and I've talked about it, of just the sort of what social media and what the internet and what TV has done to this business. It's sort of given people false hope and falsehoods of how it actually goes. So I wish that part of it would change. It wasn't always like that. I've been to business over 2 decades. I can remember very, very early on, it wasn't like that at all. It was, we were at the track a lot more. People were a lot more down to earth about things. The business itself has just kind of changed. So, and I blame that on social media mostly. So it's a blessing and a curse.
Well, I'm definitely with you. It is a blessing and a curse. Like you said, it provides, I've been doing the show now for 5 years. Mm-hmm. So it provides me a way to, if I can't pull up on you in Boca Raton, we can still have this interview. Right. So that's great. And 100%. And I definitely get what you're saying, because from me more so, I'm more on the classic car
Yep.
side. And we talked about this, I think, last week with last week's guest. We'll see cars and on social media, they'll look beautiful. It'll look like, oh my God, I can't wait to see this
Yep.
car. And then when you actually see the car, it's a piece of crap.
Uh-huh.
It looks like trash.
Right.
The paint looks really good when I saw it on the internet. Everything looks really good, and then I see it, and I'm like, ain't no way this is the same car.
Right.
This cannot be the same car.
Smoke and
You
mirrors.
are literally catfishing me with a car.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, so the same, absolutely. We see it all the time. Far from good, good from far, whatever they say. So that happens on our end of the business, not only the cars themselves, but just the way things go. I have people that come to the shop that are like, I want 1,000 horsepower. And I'm like, okay, slow down. That can be done. It's a lot of money, takes a lot of time and effort, takes a lot of parts, a lot of planning. You know, just because everybody's doing it out there and just because it seems like everybody's getting on that train,
Right.
they're not seeing that other side of it. And that happens in the classic car market too, with, like I said, you know,
Right.
you see all these shiny cars and stuff like that, and then you start to realize really what it takes and how many of these cars are actually kind of slapped together. And so, yeah, I feel you on that for sure.
Yeah, it's a lot to deal with. I won't even go down that rabbit hole. But we talked about a little bit your views on people being able to get over in the car industry, maybe because
Yes.
more so maybe sex sells, or more so maybe this sells or that sells. What are your views on that?
Sure. So back to the social media thing and back to what I was talking about before. There are people who have entered the market who got their sort of the shortcut way. I don't believe in shortcuts. I always say you can't get around the performance business, especially if you're in the industry that I am and you're actually building the cars. There's no shortcuts. You either know what you're doing and you either go through it and you either cut your teeth and grind and earn it, or you don't. Well, what's happening now with social media and influencers and all this kind of stuff is there are people who have no business being in this business, who have no real relevant experience, who have never actually worked on a car or actually picked up a tool, sort of going around that process now and getting into this business, and then they're being rewarded for it simply because of either their gender or their beliefs or the car they drive or whatever the case is, and they're sort of hacking that now. And again, it's good and bad. I mean, it does bring exposure to the industry, but yes, there are male and females out there who are really exploiting the car culture, so to speak, and they really haven't earned it. And that kind of bothers me. I have buddies of mine, colleagues of mine in the business, other shop owners who we've been doing this for 20, 30, whatever years, grinding, and we're finally getting to the point where we're making a little money and we're finally being recognized. And you've got these guys and girls who just sort of get half naked and do a couple donuts, and boom, Eastwood and Summit Racing and all these companies are throwing free parts at them and this, that, and the other, and they couldn't tell you the first thing on how to work on a car. And it's very obvious to people like us. So yes, that's actually happening a lot right now, and it's sort of diluting the real like meat and potatoes of this car culture thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, I told a friend of mine that today, honestly. I said, if it took me a really long time to build the brand and the following that I have now, but if I was on social media busting it wide open and acting, you know what I'm saying, and showing bending over cars with this, you know what I mean? Like, I would have probably had, 500,000 followers
100%.
and but that's not, I have to hold true to what I believe and who I am.
Sure.
Like, I pride myself on, my grandmother's 98. So not that she has social media, but I pride myself though, if my grandmother clicked on my social media, she still would be able to be proud of her granddaughter.
Of course.
So I do see it a lot. I'm a female, so I can say I see it on the female side. I see it on the male side too. Like, males, we're not gonna act like males don't thirst trap as well.
100%.
But I see a lot of women out there thirst trapping. They got on tiny shorts. They got on shirts that's cut so their boobs, so they got the spillage coming out. And, and I just look at them and I just keep scrolling and I shake my head, because I know. But I guess it's such as life. Like, sex sells no matter what you're doing. sex and drama gonna sell.
Sure.
So if me and you were on here screaming and yelling at each other, we'd have 1,000, 2,000 people.
Right.
But if we're on here just having a valuable conversation, we're gonna have what we're gonna have. Now you have those people that'll come on and want to hear the conversation. But if we were doing something messy, or let alone if we screaming and we half naked, we gonna have a lot of people on.
Could you imagine? What a sight,
Not
huh?
at all. Not. I
So
would be too embarrassed though. That's me though. I guess
yeah,
I'm not that type of person. I do too much and bring too much value. And not to mention, my father told me most times a woman is more appealing to a man when she's fully dressed and there's something to the imagination.
absolutely. I have nothing against sex and sex sells, any of that stuff. I get it. And listen, women have been a part of, and men have been a part of that sort of part of the car culture forever. I mean, you had back in the 40s, you had pinup girls, right? And they were always associated with hot rodding and stuff like that. There's nothing new about that. But there has to be a balance. You have to look, if a girl wants to wear a crop top and lean over a Camaro and she gets a free set of wheels for it, fine. But you should also recognize the people who are actually out there doing this and actually building stuff that maybe don't have that opportunity. There has to be a balance. And it seems like ever since, Instagram and all this stuff has come along, it's sort of like we're like losing our way almost, right? It's pathetic and it's so obvious. I mean, again, you see it, I see it, but no, you definitely you hit the nail on the head with sticking to your roots. We've done the same. I've been approached by other vendors and things like that to do some things that either I just didn't believe in or didn't want to back the product or whatever the case was, and I just won't. That's not to say that I don't use social media. Obviously, again, we're on it right now. It's a big part of the business. I talk about this in some of the other podcasts I've been in as well, of how important it is to actually be on these platforms and try to share the knowledge and experience that we have and the cars we're building. But yeah, it's sort of out of control, and it's to the point now where guys like me who've been doing this in the trenches for so long it gets very discouraging. So, but we all see it, we know. So
Yeah, a lot of it is a lot of it is I reference people like I don't know. I'm pretty sure you know who Supercar Blondie is, right?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I was reading an article that said that she doesn't really know about cars. She reads off of she studies the script.
Right.
I don't know if it was true or not,
Right.
but I was thinking to myself, it's sad when you really actually got girls out here that know about cars. Like I
Exactly.
know about, I may not know about the kind of cars that she really deals in because I don't really deal with new cars. But if you can, it's not too much. You can't ask me about an old car,
Right.
and I don't know. You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I would just really like to see people who actually really know what they're doing
Of course.
reap some of these rewards and reap some of these benefits versus somebody who's just getting out here and they are good for the look or the aesthetic of
100%.
the company. Because I don't care what you look like. If you could fix my car, I'm good. But,
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
you don't
Well,
have to. Go ahead.
no. Yeah. No. You're right. The people who are actually in it and involved in it need to be recognized the same way as these other influencers are. That's all. That's all I ask. I have nothing against women being in this business. I've said that to you before, and I've said it to other people. I have nothing against women being in this business at all. And in fact, I encourage it. I love it. I love to see it. But get out there and learn the craft, learn the skills, be involved. Don't just whip your boobs out and get a free set of HRE wheels when I got to pay full retail because I don't have that opportunity. It makes no sense to me whatsoever, and it 100% dilutes the basis of why we all do this. I'm telling you, it just does. It just does, and it's kind of sad to see, but
Either
we
that
keep
or you're
building.
going to
We
have to
keep
get
building.
you a girl on your team
I
that
know.
can rip her boobs out.
You're right. Yeah, I think. Hey, I think my wife is watching this.
Well, yeah, hey man. Well, we ain't gonna make your wife whip her boobs out. We gonna find somebody.
No, that's right. Y'all gonna have to pay for that.
All right. So, what have you been most proud of since you've had your company?
Man, a lot.
Okay.
I can say this: we have done a lot with very little, and what I mean by that is, I don't come from a family that was in racing. Most people who are in the business that I'm in come from a long line of people who raced cars, who've been doing this. I didn't. My mom and dad were not in this business, so I'm first generation shop owner. So I kind of had to learn the hard way. I didn't go to tech school. I learned underneath the car on my back in the garage, like a lot of people have. And I tell you, there's really nothing wrong with that. So, fast forwarding now, years and years later, it's amazing to kind of step back sometimes and go to 30,000 feet, as they say, and look down at the business and see what when I say we're, my team and I, it's just not just me, see what we're able to accomplish in a relatively small space. Our shop is about 2,200 square feet right now. We are moving to a larger facility, but we got a small shop. We don't really have any crazy fancy equipment. I'm not backed by millions of dollars. This is all like, bootstrapped. It really is. I got a family that supports me. I got great guys that work with me. I have awesome customers. So I'm most proud of, just what we're able to accomplish and how we're able to compete in this industry with very, very little. And I have to tell you, it's providing excellent service. It's caring about what we do. It's giving it 100%. That's what I'm most proud of. I'm most proud of. I'm gonna tell you right now, and you can take this to the bank. I'll stack my builds up against any of the big guys any day of the week. I'll guarantee that I'll put my money on it right now. And I have cars to prove it. My results speak for themselves. I'm not just blowing smoke. We build really nasty street cars. We build cars that run. We build cars that drive. I've got guys that put 100,000 miles on our builds, and other than oil changes and basic maintenance, they're still on the road. So that's what I'm most proud of, is what we've accomplished with very, very, very little. Really, I have no business being in this business, but we did it. It was just hard work, straight hustle. So.
Would you ever participate in a build off?
Hell yeah. Oh, I'd
I
love
would
to.
love to see some of you guys get together and do a build
Let's
off.
go.
Like, I've been trying to get that done, like when it comes to y'all, a long time. A long time.
Let's go. I'm
I
ready.
would like to see it.
There should be, and that's what I'm talking about. That's what makes this business fun. See, we've all gotten away from why we started this in the first place. We all got into this because we enjoyed it. And I think what happens is when you open a shop or you get too heavy into the business end of things, you forget, why do we do this? We do this because we love it, because we enjoy it. I'm all about build offs. I love going to the racetracks. All the racetracks are closing and we're losing our drag strip and all this and that and the other. But it sucks because it takes away the whole reason why we do this in the first place. So yeah, I'm down for a build off. Hey, anybody watching this right now wants to holler and say, hey, let's build a Camaro, let's build something, let's go to the track. I'm down. Anytime, 24/7. I'm down for that.
That would be super dope. I just want to be. I don't want to be a part of it because I can't build a car. I just want to be. I don't know if I could be a judge or something. I just want to be in it in some type of way. I would love to be a part of that. I can't build a car. I can take some parts off. I can take a car apart, but I can't put it back together.
Right. So what we would do is, we'd have to pick a car, obviously, Camaro, Corvette, whatever it's going to be. And then, I don't know, we'd have to take you for a ride in it or something like that,
Right.
because everything we build is fast, right? So, we'd have to get the camera on the dashboard and see your reaction, and we'd have to see who scares you more. There's so many things you can do. It's, and that's what I'm trying to get back to. I'm just trying to get back to just my grassroots, which is just building cars, racing, enjoying it, hanging out with my friends, hanging out with my buddies. Yes, it's a business. Yes, it's important to do the right job for your customers and things like that, and run a business. But you got to enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, this industry will kill you. It'll eat you up. So
I was gonna say, because you do the business side so much now, has it made you be like, I'm just tired?
Yeah.
I'm tired.
Oh yeah. Anybody that tells you otherwise is lying. No, it's hard, and it never gets easier. We have a saying at the shop: never easy, always hard.
Wow.
We use that as motivation, though. That's not. We're not complaining, and we're not trying to be negative. We're a very positive group, but we always remember it's never easy. It's always hard, and just remember that. And the sooner that you embrace that, and this goes just in general in life, really, to be honest with you, but the sooner you embrace the suck, so to speak, and the sooner that you understand that this is a hard business to be in, and that no matter what you do, sometimes stuff just doesn't go right. The sooner you understand that, the better off you'll be. So yeah, the business end of this deal has sort of worn me down, but I still really love it. I wake up every morning, I go to the shop, and I love it. It's you have to. If you don't, you will be exposed and you will be pushed out naturally. in just a matter of time. Just because a normal human being would never subject themselves to this sort of torture. And it's just a fact. That's a fact. Any shop owner knows what I'm talking about. You got to be a little cuckoo to keep coming back and keep getting beat up. That's what we do.
I definitely agree. Because car people are so crazy.
We are.
I think even on the building car side, because I'm building a classic car now, I tell people all the time, I feel like smoking crack would have been way cheaper. Like,
100%.
I like who this car stuff is crazy.
It is crazy.
And some of the stuff I see people do is super, super crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, you take perfectly running fine cars and just do
them up.
stuff. Like the car was running fine.
Right. Yeah, you know what's funny? You mentioned that about taking perfectly good running cars. Part of my job sometimes is to talk people out of modifying their car. A sign of a good shop owner and a sign of somebody who has vast experience modifying cars is the ability to tell somebody you probably shouldn't do it. It's probably not a good idea. I'm telling you, that's a very important part of being an owner of a shop. Tell people no. No. No is very important. No is very powerful. So it's underrated.
Do you sometimes wish or say to yourself, dang, I should have just did a normal job. I should have just been
No. Hell no. No, I'm so blessed to be in this business. No. Right. You know what? I have friends of mine who went and got normal jobs, right? You know what they all talk about on the weekends? What I do. You know what they all want to do on the weekends? What I do. You know what they do? They go to car shows. My whole life is a car show. Every day of my life, 24/7 is a car show. I get to do what these guys do as a hobby. I do it as a profession, as a living. I'm very blessed. I never take it for granted. I never go to the shop and I'm like, I'd rather have a desk job. No way in hell. No way. And I tell you what, I don't think I could ever go back. So if this doesn't work out, I don't know what I'm going to do. I might have to do podcasts with you and stuff like that because, I'm way too far in the woods now, girl. This is it for me.
But you say you've been doing it 20 years.
Oh yeah, I've been doing this a long time. I started sweeping floors at a shop in Boca for real. Mm-hmm. I started working on my own Camaro in my garage with my dad on my back, doing transmission swaps and clutch swaps and going on the forums when forums were like a new thing. Right. This is back, you're talking about the early 2000s when, the internet was kind of like coming around and, and we certainly didn't have what we have now. We didn't have YouTube. That didn't exist. Right. So you sort of you had the car and you would surround yourself with people who had been wrenching their whole lives, who could give you some sort of insight, and you just did it. Again, I didn't go to school for this. I just learned it. I learned it the hard way. There's two ways to do it. You can go to school and you can be taught the right ways to do things and still have to go out and cut your teeth, or you do what I did, which is the old school way. Just, you're going to learn as you go. You're going to make a lot of mistakes. You're going to learn from those mistakes and commit to being better every day. And that's it for me. But no, I'm too far in the woods now. I'm not doing anything else. This is it for me.
But you have to be mechanically inclined. 100%. So some people are not mechanically inclined. No. For you to be able to just pick up wrenches and not have to go to school for it, that just means that you have always been mechanically inclined.
Sure. No, there is that. You can learn a lot, but you got to have it in you. You got to. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but I can sort of visualize long before I ever work in a car in my head exactly how it's going to go, exactly what I'm going to need. If you ask me right now to pull an engine out of a Camaro, I could tell you exactly what tools I'm going to need, exactly how I'm going to do it. I could tell you the size of the nuts and the bolts and stuff I'm going to be removing. I can tell you everything in my head. So you sort of have to have that ability to foresee and to envision what it is that you're doing and how it's going to work. And that's the difference between people who do this for a living and people who do it as a hobby, is just that experience, but no, you have to be mechanically inclined for sure.
Right. Is there anything that you wish you knew when you first started that now that you're like, dang, that would have came in handy when I first started?
Yeah, have more money. Yeah.
Well, that's definitely a given.
Have more money. People who want to get into the business, have some money. Yeah, have something stacked to the side for a rainy day. The problem with this business is there's a lot of pitfalls, and you're either gonna struggle through it, or you can set yourself up ahead of time to help kind of soften that a little bit, because it's going to come. You're going to have engine failures. You're going to have parts that don't fit. You're going to have people steal from you. You're going to have cars catch on fire. You're going to have hurricanes come through and flood your shop. You're going to have theft. You're going to have all kinds of stuff happen and at multiple levels. Being prepared for those things when they come really is the difference between being successful in this business and not. When I started out very, very early in this business, I was sort of naive to that. Again, I went from a hobby to a profession. Why? I was all gung ho. Everything was great up to that point. But what I didn't understand was working on a car in your garage at your house with your dad on the weekends is a lot different than doing it for a living. So you sort of come in with rose-colored glasses, right? You come in thinking, oh, this is fun. I'm going to love it. And then all of a sudden the business levels you real quick. So if I knew then what I knew now about being financially prepared for that, it would have been a lot easier. I would have been able to, not have to learn the hard way. But that's really it. I mean, everything else, I embrace the suck, as I said. I love the process, and I take failures as learning experiences, and that's what's got me to this point. So I don't regret anything.
Now that you know too outside of the business, as far as being a business owner, you know how many business owners don't have savings? Like they don't have a Roth IRA, or they don't have they're not actively saving like a 401k or anything.
Right.
So what happens if something happens to them and there's just no money saved?
Correct.
So now what?
Right. You heard of robbing Peter to pay Paul, right? That's probably the biggest problem in this industry with guys who, there's two types of people in this business. There are people who are very good at working on cars who don't know anything about business and aren't financially literate. Or there are people who are very good at business and who understand money that couldn't work on a car to save their lives.
Right.
It's very difficult to find both. I am college educated. Not that means anything, but I did go to school for business. So I do have a background in at least understanding how business works. I do understand the financial part of it. It took me a long time to get there. You got to be careful with your money. You got to save your money. 401k is a great way to save money as a shop owner. It's so hard. You work your ass off all week and you finally finish a car and you get paid. And we all have bills and we all have things to pay for. And it's so hard to stack that money away. It's hard, especially when you start a business. You start in a shop like any business. That business is going to take all your money. You're not going to have any money left over on Friday, right? But you somehow, some way have to understand that you can't do that forever and that you have to plan that as part of your business plan. Right. Even if it's 10%, right? My dad always said, take 10% of your money and put it away. 10%. So yeah, being financially responsible and financially literate, in other words, understanding how money works and understanding how you can use money to grow your business, but also protect yourself on a rainy day is very, very important. That's probably the number one reason people fail in any business, but especially the car business. Robbing Peter to pay Paul. They get paid on a Friday and they spend the money at the bar on a Saturday, and then Monday comes around, they got no money to buy the parts. And they do it over and over and over again, and eventually it's like a Ponzi scheme. It runs out, and I see it all the time. And it's very easy to do. So,
and they got to pay their people if they got people working for them. Yeah. So most of the people that I know, they have to pay their people, and then there's nothing for them.
Right.
Or nothing for pay their people, pay their bills, and then they'll be lucky if they get a paycheck.
Correct. I've been there many times. I can tell you this much. In the many years that I've done this and the guys who have worked with me, I never missed a paycheck on a Friday doing any of my guys. They never didn't get paid, ever. I can tell you multiple times. I can tell you recently there have been times where I didn't get paid on a Friday, straight up. But I'm the owner of the business. Again, I'm prepared for that. I know that's going to happen. I'm going to tell you one thing. My guys will never not get paid on a Friday or whatever. That's not going to happen. That's just not going to happen. So, but you need to, as a business owner, as a shop owner especially, you need to understand that, hey, you may not get paid on a Friday, man.
Right.
Car's not done, you don't get paid. It's pretty simple. But it'd be very unfair of me to, take that out of my employees. So you're right. It's a slippery slope. So be financially prepared.
Right.
I'm telling you.
I don't know how to do it, because I know a lot of people who own shops, and they say, like, okay, you take a deposit, right? And then I don't know, everybody doesn't take a deposit and then a certain amount of time comes and then you get more money, and then when it's done, you get the rest of the money. Most people will take a deposit, and then when the car is done, they get the rest of the money.
Correct.
So what are you supposed to do in the in-between?
Right.
And, okay, let's say you told me my car was going to be $25,000, but you told me I need to give you $5,000 or $10,000 up front.
Right.
What do you do the whole time you're working on the car to wait for that other $15,000? It could be a long time.
That's a great question. I'll explain. I've been there and done that many times. So in a perfect world, a car would come in, you would take a deposit on the parts. The parts would be readily available, if not in stock at your shop. That money would go in the bank. You would make your 10, 20, 30% margin on the parts. Okay, the 10, 20, 30% margin on the parts, that pays the bills. All right, that pays the lights, that pays the water, that pays whatever, right? It keeps the place open. Then the car would go on the lift and it would get done quickly, right? What's quickly? I don't know, a week, let's say, depending on the job. And at the end of the job, you would get paid. The car would leave. There'd be no problems. There'd be no delays. Everything would be great, which we know doesn't happen. And you would get the remaining balance. And so long as you charged enough, and so long as you know how to put an invoice together and actually bill properly, which is another problem in this business, guys don't know how to do that, you get paid on a Friday, and you break off your guys, and you get paid, and you go home. Do you know that never happens? I don't care how smart you are. I don't care how long you've been in this business. It never goes like that. How it goes is like this. Guy comes in, leaves a deposit. You order the parts. Parts get delayed. Nobody has anything in stock. Raw materials are stuck in a boat in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. They can't get it. That happens all the time. So there's nothing in stock. So now you've taken a guy's deposit. He's eager to get the car in, and we can't get the parts. Well, that's my job to tell the customer, hey, we have a 6 to 8 week lead time on the parts. So now, not only has the guy given me money and he's excited, but now I've given him the worst news ever, which is going to take 2 months to get his parts or whatever. So that money gets spent. I order the parts. That 10, 20, 30% gets evaporated or gets used up immediately on paying the bills for that week. And now there's no car in the shop because there's no parts to work on with the car, right? There's no parts to put on the car. So what do? Well, you have to stack up enough work and you have to take in enough of those jobs to keep the cash flow coming in. Well, the problem with that now is a catch-22. So now you start taking on multiple deposits on multiple jobs, ordering multiple parts. Well, now you're sort of exposing yourself as a business owner to, the pitfalls of doing that, which is delays, pissing people off, not getting cars in a timely fashion, taking too much work on, right? More than you can shoot. That happens all the time. Guys taking on way too much work. I'm guilty of it. I do it all the time. I'm still to this day. And there's reasons for that. Going back to your original question, that's a legitimate thing that happens, and you have to sort of be prepared for that. That's where the savings come in. You want to have $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 in a checking account somewhere to float the business while those delays occur, because they're going to occur. Well, that's very hard to get that kind of money saved up, especially as a new shop. And then it could even be longer than that. Car might sit for 6 months. You might get an engine and the engine might fail, and now you got to fix the motor, and it takes forever to get that stuff fixed. So you have to have savings, you have to have a plan, and you have to have enough work booked and enough things happening that your cash flow is steady. It's very difficult to do. As many years as I've been doing this, I'm still working on that. I think every shop owner is. And then, you don't know what's coming in the door tomorrow. So you always have that fear, that little thing in that little voice that says, hey, take that job. It might be your last. That never ends. That's just the part of being a business owner. So yeah, you got to be financially prepared for those highs and lows and those lulls in your cash flow. And it's hard.
Can you come back at the parts issue? Because I got a friend of mine. His shop, he makes the customer get the parts in before he puts the car in.
Sure.
So the parts have to be ordered and available before he takes the car in, or he won't take the car in. Now I can show you. I can order all the parts. You can go ahead and pay for the parts up front, but I'm not taking the car in until we have the parts, because that's gonna delay me. It's gonna delay you, and then that'll kind of at least cut that part out.
Correct.
If that makes sense.
Yes, that is the right way to do it.
Right.
Car does not come in until every single component is on the shelf.
Right.
The problem with that is getting those components may take months.
Right.
American Racing Headers, very big company. They were in New York for years and years and years. I sold tons of their headers. I mean, hundreds of kits, I'd say, over these years. They moved from New York to North Carolina recently. Well, they didn't tell anybody they were doing that. So I'm over here selling their header kits to future customers, right, and future jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden I get a phone call, hey, we're moving our facility. Well, you could imagine moving that sort of facility from state to state. We were waiting a year, months, 9 months, 12 months for headers.
Oh, wow.
No, I'm not throwing American Racing under the bus. They make a great product, and they're a busy business, and they do well, and that's part of moving a business. But what do I do in the meantime?
Right.
You know what I mean? So no, none of those cars came in, but I still have customers that are sort of irritated by the fact that they've given me a deposit in their car and their car's not getting done, or the car's sitting, you know. And then in the meantime, I got to sell other jobs. So what happens is you take a deposit on one job, it takes forever to get the parts. You take deposits on other jobs, those parts come in, those customers come in, but the guy that put a deposit down on a set of headers 6 months ago, he wants to get in. Well, how do you balance that? How do you get him in? So now he has to wait even longer. So it's sort of unfair, right? So yeah, it's bad. It's bad. It's ever since COVID, ever since that whole debacle, I think manufacturers I think they laid a lot of people off. I think they downsized their operation and they never rebounded.
Right.
They just said, screw it, we'll stay like this. People will wait. Right. And so we try to keep things in inventory. We try to keep things on the shelf to sort of curb that and sort of, offset that. But yeah, don't take the car in until the parts are in, because then the car's just going to sit there in your way.
Not only that, it's just a lot of people that even you're right, they downsized, but then they just really couldn't afford to pay people to even bring them back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like you said, it might now get worse with the dock workers striking. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
God, I don't even know how that's gonna go.
Well, you know what we do? We make it ourselves.
Yeah.
So that's the beauty of owning the business. That's the beauty of being in control. This went back to our original topic, which was a partnership, right? I'm in control of what I do. I'm in control of my own destiny. That Florida High Performance, we'll make it. If it's going to take 12 months to get a set of headers, we'll make the headers. We'll buy the material. We'll keep the material on the shelf, and we'll fabricate it in-house. We do it all the time. Make versus buy. We try to make things all the time. So yes, the strikes going on and supply chain issues, raw materials and things like that, definitely affect our business, but we adapt. That's what you have to do. You got to be able to pivot in business.
Yeah.
Whether you're working on cars or cleaning toilets or whatever you're doing, you got to be able to pivot.
Right.
So it is what it is. We all deal with it. We're all in the same boat.
Right. That's one of the things I really had to learn about, because I walked away from my corporate job.
Yep.
Of 16 years in 2021, because I just didn't want to look back on my whole life and have regrets about sitting working for somebody all my life and just regretting not doing what I loved or what I wanted to do. But I had to really learn how to pivot. Like I really had to learn how to, not to mention when I left my job, this was during the PPP era, and people were spending so much money, you would have thought I got a PPP loan. Right. I couldn't keep parts. I couldn't keep car jewelry. I could not keep anything in stock. I was making so much money hand over fist till them people ran out of that money. Right. When them people ran out of that money, I was like, oh my goodness, should I go back to work?
Yeah, the bubble burst. We were busy too during that time. What were you doing? What were you doing in the corporate world?
I worked in the IT department at a Fortune 50 bank.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So I still got those skills if I gotta ever.
Sure. Well,
But I had worked there 16 years, and I was like, bro, I'm tired. Like I feel like the CEO of the company will never know my name.
Right.
They're paying me drops in the bucket of what I'm making now, and I'm not hating on how anybody makes their money, but I know that I can take my talents and make myself a millionaire.
Sure.
Versus taking my talents and making somebody else a millionaire.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, it's very, very hard to do it working for somebody else. It can be done, but I'm here to tell you as an entrepreneur that there's no better way. There's no better way to get there faster, right, than doing it yourself. It's harder. It's a lot harder, and I think people underestimate that, but it's worth it.
Yeah, but after I left, I then saw the beauty of going to work, going home, um, getting my paycheck on Friday, not having to worry about.
Right. There's something to be said for that.
Right.
I understand that.
If you just want to go to work and go
Yeah.
home, you make sure you know what your paycheck's gonna be on Friday.
Right.
You don't have to worry about what you're gonna do about this or what you're gonna do. It's definitely, I can see the attraction to a 9 to 5. I can
Sure.
say that because I've been
Sure.
on both sides.
Nothing wrong with it.
And not to mention running a business, no matter what kind of business you have, is so hard.
24/7.
Late nights, early morning, you might get a couple hours of sleep. Then you might wake up at 3 in the morning like, oh my God, I gotta.
Yeah. Real talk. What, you spying on me? That sounds like my life. 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, 9:30 at night, talking to you. I'll be up tomorrow morning. We're moving to a new shop, so I'm going to be there at 7 o'clock in the morning to meet general contractor down there, and it's nonstop. It's 24/7. But that's why we do it.
Let me tell you this. I'm moving. So I'm working. I run my brother's restaurant for him. So I'm at the restaurant what seems like 8 days a week.
Yep.
Still trying to move. I gotta try to finagle and move houses and then go to the restaurant and then come do my show and then do my parts. It's a never ending story.
Yeah.
But this is the life we chose.
Right. Don't complain about it.
Yeah, you gotta suck it up.
That's right.
What is it? Put your big girl panties on.
Sure. Well, like I say, embrace the suck.
Right. So if you could give people looking to get to be an entrepreneur, especially in the automotive world, if you can give them one piece of advice that you maybe wish someone would have given you, or just a piece of advice that you have learned along the way, what would be not just one, but if you could give them any advice, what would that advice be?
My best advice to anybody that wants to be a real entrepreneur, right? That really wants to go out there and make something out of themselves and build their own life, right? Whether it's working on cars or doing whatever, is you have to embrace the failures. That's the biggest thing I could tell you. And it may not make any sense when it's happening. You may not be able to understand why it's happening or why something bad is happening to you, but it's going to happen. And when I say bad, I don't mean, horrible things. You might lose money on a job. You might get fired by a customer. Whatever the negative thing that happens, take every one of those things that happen and try to find the positive in it. Try to learn from it. That is the most valuable thing you can do, period. The money will come. The success will come if you work hard enough for it and you dedicate yourself to whatever it is that you want to do and you have a plan. Having a plan is very important. That'll all come. I promise you. It has to, right? If you work hard enough, it's going to come. But I think so many people are scared and they fear failure and they fear making mistakes. I actually, and this maybe has happened over the last 3 years of my life, I actually embrace it. I don't look forward to it, but I can handle it now and I know how to handle it and I look at it differently. If we have a car at the shop that, say, doesn't perform the way it's supposed to or has some sort of a mechanical failure and it puts us back 2 weeks, it's disappointing. It's frustrating. I'm not going to say I laugh and smile about it, but I get over it. I look at what happened, why it happened, and how to prevent it from happening again. And that's what makes you good at what you do, period. Again, that goes for any kind of business person. So my advice to you would be embrace the suck, learn from your mistakes, and actually try to find the positive in those negative situations, and you'll be just fine. I promise.
It's super hard to try and find the positive when stuff is going wrong. I'm just going to be honest.
It's very hard. And it's not going to be easy. And sometimes you're going to be like, what the hell? What is it me? Do I need to go to see somebody and get this bad juju off of me? But you don't have a choice because it's going to happen, right? These things are going to happen, especially in business.
Yeah.
So you have two choices. You either suffer through it or learn from it. Yeah. So that would be it for me. That would be it. That's my only advice. Everything else will fall into place.
Because there's a lot of people that just give up.
Right.
They like, you know what? I'm going to just, instead of having my own shop or instead of having my own business, I'm just going to go ahead and go back to work for somebody else.
Sure.
And
I understand that.
And then I think, then at that point, they're miserable too. So like you can't win for losing.
That's what I'm saying. You're going to suffer.
Right.
You just decide how you want to suffer. Right. It's going to happen. Right. So you either embrace it or don't. So I always say, embrace the suck. Never easy, always hard. The sooner you learn that and the sooner you live by that, you're good. It took me a long time to figure that out, by the way. And it's still hard. I have bad days, just like everybody else, especially in the car business. Car business sucks. It's hard. You don't make a lot of money. You really don't. The margins are tight. The competition is up there. You're dealing with there's no barriers to entry, so like anybody could open a shop really at the end of the day. Like you could be a
Right.
YouTube mechanic and open a shop. I mean, there's zero barriers to entry in my industry. You could anybody can rent a bay, anybody could buy a dyno, anybody could buy a lift, anybody. They can get a shirt with their logo on the front of it and go to work.
Right. And be out here cheating people.
Yep. It happens all the time. So
Man,
I mean, so but it is what it is.
making
Those
the
people
real
don't last.
mechanics look bad. Out here cheating people, making the real mechanics look
Making
bad.
us look bad, keeping us busy though.
True.
We fix more. I'd say 50% of the cars we get in the shop, we are just fixing other people's problems, and they're usually very simple problems. They're not big, complicated issues. They're very simple issues that would have taken maybe an hour of somebody's time to care, but nobody cares. Everybody wants that quick buck. Everybody wants that quick money, and it's just not the way to do it.
What's your favorite part of doing what you do?
Oh man, exceeding customers' expectations. So nothing better. Nothing better than somebody pays you to do something for the vehicle and they're so happy with it when you're done. Not only are they thrilled with the car itself, but they really buy into your brand. They become like part of your family. I would say the majority of our customers are like family to us. They really are. We call them the one percenters. The 1%, they're like family members. And that's a large majority of our customers. So that's the most rewarding part is busting your ass and exceeding the expectations of the customer, really blowing them away. That's all we try to do. That's because there's nothing better than that. But yeah, getting paid is nice. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, when you finally do, right?
Yeah, getting paid and getting the car out's also nice. But no, just making somebody happy, delivering on your promise, and then seeing them at a car show or seeing them down the road, or even better, they leave a positive, like a Google review or something like that. There's nothing better than that. That's why we do what we do, period. So, and we get a lot of praise from our customers. We have an excellent customer base that, like I said, they're our friends, they're our family. I mean, I owe everything to my customers. I really do. Without them, I would not have a business. We wouldn't be talking about a business right now. So,
My last question. When you're no longer doing this, what would you like for your legacy to be?
The only thing I ever care about is, and I tell my guys this, is at the end of the day, when I step away from this business, I want people to say that I did a good job. That's it. That's all that matters to me. I don't care if I have the biggest shop. I don't care if I have the fastest car. That's all material stuff. That's all nonsense. At the end of the day, nobody really cares, to be honest with you. That stuff comes and goes. There's always somebody faster. I can tell you that right now. Always. All that matters is that they say, Eric and the guys at Florida High Performance, they didn't steal, they didn't cheat, they didn't lie. They did the best job they could. They weren't perfect. Nobody is. And I'm going to tell you right now, we're not. But, they did right by me and they did the best they could. And I'm okay with that. That's the legacy I want to leave, period. That's it. I want to make sure that my wife and my kids only hear good things about me. And that's it. Honor my mom and my dad. That's it. As corny as that may sound, as old school as that may be, that's it.
No, it don't sound corny, but that I feel like you'll be hard pressed to find somebody that everybody says good things about. I know some people probably gonna say, Eric, you know what? I can't stand Eric.
That's okay. I can tell you. I can tell you people who feel that way about me. They know it and I know it. That's okay. The feeling is mutual.
Well, those were all my questions. Is there anything else that you would like for your fans, followers, supporters, heck, I guess even your haters to know about you?
Sure. Haters, thank you. You know what I mean? Yeah, I appreciate you.
Right.
I need you in my life. You keep me going, keep me motivated. I motivate myself. I mean, I don't really. At the end of the day, I wake up, I'm motivated, right? Here's what I can tell you. I am investing a lot of resources, I'll say that, into this new facility. We are in 2,200 square feet right now. We are going to be in a facility that's on a quarter of an acre. It's over 7,000 square feet. We are doing this place top to bottom, side to side, new floors, new lifts, everything's new. So I am investing heavily into my business. We're not going anywhere. One of our main competitors just left when I just moved out of town. So we're really sort of gonna fill that position. We're gonna fill that opening, so to speak. We already are. We already have. We're just gonna do it that much better in our new shop. And I am fully committed to my business. Fully committed. I'm completely accessible. We got a podcast coming out soon, so you're gonna get to hear me talk more. Thank you. It's gonna be a podcast that focuses on shop life, running a shop, running the business, the financial stuff we talked about. You know, things that shop owners don't share with people. I'm gonna dish it. People are gonna know about it. So there's a lot of good stuff going on. I cannot thank you enough for having me on here. I'm very humbled that you thought enough of my business to want to have me come on and share my story. So, but that's it. That's it. I just appreciate everything from everybody. I really do.
Always. You know what? I'm so, when I started the show, I just thought I was just going to be talking to, because I'm into big rim racing. I just was like, okay, I'm going to talk to the big rim racers because everybody likes them and I like them, and it's so interesting. But then I got to thinking, it's so many people that do so many interesting things in the car world. I would be doing myself and all of those other people a disservice if I didn't talk to them. So it kind of blossomed, and now I just talk to everybody from everywhere.
Amazing.
And I'm just appreciative that people like yourself would take time out of your busy schedule on a Tuesday night at 9:30 to sit down and talk to me, when I'm pretty sure you're probably trying to wind down from your day and talk to your family and go to bed if you can.
Nah, no time for that. No, I got estimates to send.
Right.
I got invoices to send. Come on. I told you it's 24/7. 24/7. It don't matter.
Well, like I said, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to sit down and talk to me. I really appreciate it. And congratulations on the new facility, and congratulations on everything, the podcast and everything you have coming.
Thank you very much. And same to you. Same to you. Best of luck. I'm following your page, so I'll keep an eye on you. And just before we part, you had mentioned big rim racing. Can you believe that I owned a 72? It was a 72 Impala, hardtop. I'll have to send you a picture of it when we get off here. It was a donk, boy. It was on 26s and it was fast.
Were you racing?
Yeah, a little bit here and there. So I used to.
Just said you got the back tire.
What's that?
50K just said you got the back tire.
Oh, really? Yeah.
He said he'll give you the back tire if you want to race.
Yeah. No, I'm okay. I've gotten out of that because I got my ass handed to me a few times.
Right.
The boys don't play, man. So I stick to the drag radials now on 15s and 17s. That's about it.
Okay, he heard what you said. If he on some drag radios, he can come. He can get it.
Okay, tell him to come get it.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
All right, no problem. Thank you.
All right. Have a good night.
All right, you too.
So, guys, if y'all missed any of tonight's episode of Rising Vibes, make sure that you catch the replay on YouTube. I'll upload the full episode. And if you are not subscribed to the YouTube channel, make sure you go subscribe to YouTube. We've now been doing this for 5 years. Can you believe it? September 2nd was 5 years of Rising Vibes. So, again, if you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, you can do that by clicking the link in my bio. Thank you again to tonight's guest, Florida High Performance, Eric, the owner of Florida High Performance. I appreciate you guys for tuning in, and I will see you guys next Tuesday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another episode of Rising